the Auburn Blitz Podcast, your direct source for all Auburn all the time with Brett Pritchard, Faith Richardson, and Randy Lee.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Auburn Blitz Podcast here on a Wednesday morning. We are glad that you have joined us wherever and whenever it is that you tune us in each and every day here on the Auburn Blitz and making Auburn Blitz part of your daily Auburn athletic intake. I'm here with my good buddy, Jason Caldwell from Auburn Undercover. Jason, good to see you, brother.
Good to see you. How you doing?
Man, I'm good. It's a Wednesday of a massive game week. Unfortunately, there's been some deflection of talk away from this game, which I hate, because the most important thing that we can talk about right now is this football game on Saturday. And you and you and I have already agreed we're not going to go back down. I talked about it yesterday. You talked about it yesterday about the Auburn Baylor game going to Atlanta. There's really not much else to discuss. And yeah, I know people got some opinions and stuff, and I may throw a few things in later on in the show. But my point was, Jason, it's not the best timing to talk about this right now. There's more important things to talk about. Let's get back to the season, coming off of a two-game road trip where Auburn narrowly missed a couple of wins. Didn't look good against Texas A&M pretty much. The Oklahoma game, I think we can all agree, that was a tough pill to swallow. There were some things that didn't go Auburn's way, should have probably gone Auburn's way and could have gotten out with a win. But now the focus is on Georgia. And I hate that, this kind of deflected the attention from that. But that's what we're going to talk about today, because Auburn's never needed something positive to happen more than they need on Saturday.
Yeah. The good news is that the coaches and players, they don't care about next season. They ain't worried about
That's what
this.
I'm saying. Why are we talking about a kickoff game?
Well, again, but like I said, that's a fan thing, and fans can talk about all they want to, because it doesn't impact the game Saturday. As long as they show up and they're there, and they will be, then that's it. But the coaches and players, they're not worried about a kickoff game next season. They're focused on Georgia. And like I said, it's a huge game. And I said last week, and I think pretty much since we walked off the field in College Station, this is the first, to me, real pressure situation that Hugh Freeze has been under. I think most people understood the first 2 years. Look, this team is very limited. And then I also said, look, coming out of Oklahoma, I thought that day that was as close as an Auburn team had been in 6, 7, maybe 8 years to what I felt like was being at the top right at the top of the league. I thought, look, you're right there. A couple of plays here or there.
Oh, yeah.
You're right there. And then you leave Texas A&M and you go, no, that felt like the last 7 or 8 years offensively. What do we see this weekend? I don't know. Obviously, the plan has to start with the plan. And Hugh Freeze said as much this week. Like he said, look, we let the guys down. And I agree. I thought it was a terrible plan. Not necessarily plan, because plans change when you get into the game. You have to, but the lack of running the football, to me, play into the strengths of Jackson Arnold, which is his running ability. Leaning into that a little bit helps your offensive line. I think Georgia's much, much better up front than either one of the last two teams. So it's going to be real difficult to run it Saturday, but you still have to. So to me, it starts with trying to find a way to run the football and get some positive plays. But I think tempo has to be involved.
I think we all knew going into this season we're an RPO style offense. And look, I think you agree with me that in period 5, when we get a chance to watch the live portion of practice most weeks, Jackson Arnold looks really good in that. And I've said that a million times on here over the last several weeks. He looks great when he's not having to think and it's reaction, and he's making great decisions on the fly in reacting time. And we don't see that in games, Jason. We see more a slow down, more of a downfield attack passing wise. We don't see a lot of intermediate routes for him to get the ball out of his hand quick. We see a lot of pressure. Again, with the lack of a running game, defenses don't honor that. So guess what they do? They're going to bring more pressure passing, and they're gonna force you to try to do some things that you're uncomfortable. And I think the Texas A&M game is a perfect example that I know they got behind the chains, and the chains dictate when you can run or not, but you got to clean that up. But I think there was a little bit of an abandonment of the running game too early.
Yeah, no, and I think some of that happens when you're not running the football.
Right.
When you're checking at the line of scrimmage and you're getting ready to throw the football, that creates anxiety. That's why I think tempo. Get to the line of scrimmage. First of all, talked to a lot of coaches over the years. The first thing that tempo does is it limits what the defense can do. Right now, anything that you can do to help the offensive line identify what the other guys on the ball are doing, limiting how exotic they can be in their twists and stunts and all those things, to me, that's a win right away. So get to the line of scrimmage, run some tempo, and the less time you're over the ball, the less time you have to false start. And that's normally when it happens, is when you're at the line of scrimmage and you stand there for a little while and you're checking. Those guys get anxious because they know these guys are coming after them. So I think as much as anything, as many 3rd and 3 and 3rd and 4s as you can be in this weekend will dictate Auburn's success on offense.
Well,
you're 3rd and 9 or more all day long, you can just chalk it up. It's going to be over with. You're not going to win that football game unless your defense has a 94 LSU moment.
Let's talk about that for just a second, Jason. Justin said, how did practice look this week? Anything encouraging? Thoughts on Chaplin's hearing issue? Now, I did have I broke that comment down from Coach Freeze a couple different ways. Did they just find out he was having trouble? And, and to me, how do you not know that before you go on the road in 2 hostile environments and make a bunch of mistakes and then you evaluate? I mean, either way, to me, it's bad that you're trying to figure out whether he's got an issue hearing, the clap or whatever you're trying to do in the cadence. You would think that through all the practice and everything else, you would have discovered that already.
Yeah. Man, I won't say. It feels like to me that it's, I don't know, I don't want to say excuse.
Yeah, right.
But I mean, he's played a lot of football. Guys started for a long time at Virginia Tech. Now, hey, I'm not saying it couldn't have recently happened, and it could have. But I think it's more to do with the fact that you're throwing the ball most every down.
Yep.
And here's the other part of it too. And I just really started thinking about this week. You mentioned you're an RPO team. That means that your first thing as an offensive lineman is run. When the defense knows you're not running the football, they're pass rushing and you're run blocking coming off the ball, it's over with.
Yep.
Now you think about that. Like, they're rushing the passer and you're thinking RPO, we're going to run the football.
So that's a scheme problem.
Well, no, I don't think it's a scheme problem. I think it's an execution problem. You actually have to run the football.
Well,
yeah. Right. I mean, that's it.
It seems like there's confusion up front on what's going on, and that's why you see the.
Well, I don't think. No, I don't think it's confusion. I think it's like it's part of the system where you're going, look, if you're an RPO, it's run first. Quarterback then pulls it if he wants to throw it. But if you do that, you got to throw it. If you pull the ball and hold it, that's when you're in trouble. That's what we've seen. So it is more of an execution going, look, if you're an RPO and you pull it, ball's got to get out of your hand. That's it. It's got to go. You can't pull it and then go, well, we're going to stand here. And then obviously the 3rd and long situations where it's just pin your ears back and go.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say
lots of issues. It starts with running the football, in my opinion.
Well, it all starts with not being able to run the football, but for whatever reason. But, also when you said you get to pin your ears back on defense and come, pretty much from all different places and you're disguising blitzes, you're anticipating that as a tackle. And so a lot of the fault starts, again, we're not making excuses, but a lot of times you're saying, I got to get off steps quicker so I can get out and block. And then you're anticipating that snap. And if it's off just a little bit, then there's a penalty. And that's how fine of a line it's been.
Yeah, and that's what I said. I think that I bet you go back. Now, a lot of I mean, their fault starts by everybody. I mean, it's not just.
But you can tell they are conscious about this pass rush,
correct,
and
because
they're trying to get off a little bit earlier.
Yeah, and like I said, and when you're throwing it on, even on first downs, when you're going, oh, this is a pass play, I better be prepared. That's why I think eliminate as much of that as possible. Get to the line of scrimmage, snap the football, and you still can run the RPO, but you're like, boom, boom, go, let's go. I think as much as you can do that. And here's the other part of it. Like I said, I think it would help to make the defense have to show their hand a little bit instead of them. We've seen, especially Oklahoma, Texas A&M, disguising so much, but when you're checking and they're checking, you snap the football and you think there's 7 coming and it's only 4, and they drop 7 into coverage, takes away what you thought was there. Then you have to hold the football account longer. Then it creates you got to pass protect a lot longer. Again, to me, all comes back down to being able to put yourself in manageable situations.
Yeah, well,
and I think tempo, not standing over the ball a long time would help. We'll see if we see some of that Saturday.
And being balanced, Jason, also allows you to be more again, you're not predictable at that point. You're less predictable when you're ahead of the chains. You got everything still in your arsenal.
Oh, absolutely.
Now the defense doesn't. They can't play so aggressively. I mean, it is a chess match. But when you give an advantage to the defense because of penalties or whatever it is that you're doing, and you're setting yourself behind the chains, you become more predictable. And like you said, things aren't there that should be there, and it creates a mess. So got some comments coming in. We'll get to those here in just a second. I want to hit a few of our partners here on the program this morning. Sensagreen, for air that's cool and clean, call on Sensagreen. They are the carrier dealers here in the state of Alabama, proud supporters of Auburn Athletics and the Auburn Blitz podcast, saving people thousands of dollars on their energy bills every year with the install of these new carrier units. They're great units. And if you're thinking about, or you think your unit is about to tank out, you need to go ahead and call Sensagreen, because they've got great deals going on this fall on these carrier units. You will not be disappointed. You need to do it now. Scout Program Management, a full construction management firm in Birmingham, Alabama, working with municipalities, educational institutions. If you got a project in the hundreds of thousands of dollars or in the millions of dollars, you need to call Scout Program Management to manage your project. You don't have time to do that. They're on site. They're holding people accountable. They're making sure you're getting what you're paying for. You need to call Scout Program Management. I've watched them work in person. They're phenomenal. They are the best in the business. And then also Bunkers in downtown Auburn. Jason and I love Bunkers. That place is awesome. They've renovated. They've added a new whole area for more seats because they needed it. The 2 bars, they've got the golf simulator bays. I don't know that there's a place where you can do all the things that you can do in Bunkers. And then the food is great. They got a new stage for live entertainment. So if you haven't been to Bunkers, man, I don't know what you're waiting on. They got 50 parking spots in the parking decks. You don't have to worry about trying to find a parking spot. They've got it all taken care of for you. Check out Bunkers in downtown Auburn on Glen. Jason, moving on into this game, what scares you about Georgia the most? Again, I don't know that this is not a unbeatable Georgia team. No. I've watched them, and to me, they're not as athletic in positions as we've seen over the last several years. I'm not taking anything away from them. Still a great football team, still a deep roster, but they are a run first, play action pass type team, and they're going to try to run the ball. That is their focus. And so offensively, I think you kind of have a beat on what they like to do. They like to get you kind of going and pinching inside and cheating a little bit, and then that's when they'll hit you with a pass to a tight end or an H-back or somebody like that. They're very efficient offensively, but to me, the offense isn't as scary as the defense for Georgia.
Yeah, and even defensively now, they've been good against the run, but they only have 7 sacks. 6 of those are by linebackers. So one defensive lineman has 1 sack this year for them. So up front, they're not as dynamic. Now they're young. I don't think they're going to get there. They've lost so many guys over the past few years to NFL draft. Sooner or later, it catches up to you. And you look at Georgia and go, look, this absolutely is a winnable game. You look at it and go, look, there's opportunities there. That's the thing about it. It's like Look, this is an Auburn team that can beat anybody on the schedule. No question about it. I mean, the last 2 weeks, the last 2 games showed us that. They didn't particularly play well against Oklahoma because of missed opportunities, had a shot.
Right.
Played awful against Texas A&M and still had a shot. You know, you look and go, okay, you get Georgia at home. Honestly, the biggest part of this one is just Georgia. Can you go play well and win a game against Georgia? I mean, this is a team with a bunch of new guys. That probably helps Auburn some. There's a lot of new faces. Those guys haven't gone to Athens a bunch, and you know, it's not like it was 10 years ago where you go, look, man, you've been on team 4 years in a row that's lost to Georgia.
Right.
There's only a handful of those guys.
Right.
But yeah, can you make a couple of plays on offense? Can you keep the crowd into it? This is a Georgia team with a lot of young guys. And of course, they went to Tennessee and won, but it was afternoon, and it was a shootout game.
Yeah, it was.
If you can get into a grind defensive game, for whatever reason, those feel like they're more pressure packed. I think that's how you have to win this one if you're Auburn. And so, can you make a couple of plays? Can you run the football? Stay ahead of the chains. You do that, you're going to have a chance to win Saturday night.
Yeah, I think the most important thing we're talking about here is getting, like Justin just said, positive first down plays. Positive first down plays, no mistakes. Hey, how about just go out and play a mistake-free or close to as mistake-free football game as you can and just see what happens? Yeah. I mean, you haven't given yourself a chance to really show what you can do because it's been riddled with errors. It's been not executing plays, just barely missing on big-time plays over the top or penalties or, you know, whatever the whole deal is that we can come up with in combination is like you said, Jason, and this is a year and a half of Auburn not being blown out. Auburn's in all of these games, like 4 or 5 games last year. You felt like
you've been right there.
Right there, could have won. We're talking about a whole different scenario. It didn't happen. So you take that and you move forward. But then at some point in time, you got to turn the page. You got to get over the hump. And this is a beautiful opportunity for Auburn at home at night against a rival that you hadn't beaten in a long time, with Cam Newton's jersey being retired at half. I mean, this is the perfect stage for you, and you know it's going to be a raucous crowd. You'd think Auburn was number 3 in the country Saturday night. I promise.
Yes. Yeah. No, the explosive plays are always important, and they always help. I right now in my mind, I think if we go back and see that Auburn has 10 first or second down plays to where you gain 4 yards, even if it's 4 or 5 yards.
Right.
To me, if you do that, then you will have had a successful night on offense, because that will lead to other plays. If you look up and you've got 10, 2 or fewer yards on first or second down, then it's going to be a long night. And so I think, to me, that's going to tell the story for this one, is those positive yardage plays on early downs. Because, again, 3rd and 5, give yourself a chance to maybe get to 4th and 2 and take some chances. But you can't do that on 3rd and 10, 3rd and 15s.
Yep.
So, we'll see if they're able to do that.
Yeah, and help your defense out a little bit, because the defense has helped you out so much throughout, already the first half of the season. Do them a favor, put them in a great situation. Even if I punt the football, get some first downs, get a drive going. And I know Coach Free said every drive should end in a kick. It ought to end in an extra point, a field goal, or a punt. You don't want to be, you should want to be able to play the field position game. Again, Jordan Hare is extremely loud at night. Hopefully Auburn will be able to take advantage of that and use that to its advantage. And look, I know it's like everybody goes, well, it's Auburn's due. Well, no, you never do. You have to make your own. You have to make your own way. It's like somebody sitting at the roulette wheel, Jason, and go, well, it's got to hit red. No, it doesn't. It never has to hit red. It can hit black 100 times in a row. Now, will it? Probably not. But everybody goes, well, it's just Auburn's time. No, it's Auburn will make its time.
Yeah, they got to go out and make it. You got to go earn it.
Yeah,
you got to go earn it. You've been close. Now, can you make the play in a key situation to get over the hump and win one of these games?
There's no doubt.
Until you do that, it's not going to happen.
You're right. Well, Jason, I know you got to run this morning, brother. I really appreciate you jumping on with me to get things started here. Tell everybody how they can keep up with you guys over at 24/7.
Yep. Check us out, auburnundercover.com, part of the 24/7 network. So lots of things going on as we move closer to big game on Saturday night. Should be unbelievable weather. So looking forward to a great weather weekend for some high school football, and then Auburn, Georgia Saturday night. So come check us out. YouTube page, lots of things going on there as well. So come find us at Auburn Undercover.
You guys do a great job as always, Jason. Appreciate you, brother. I'll see you Saturday, okay?
Sounds good.
All right. Jason Caldwell with Auburn Undercover there, 24/7, does a great job, and always appreciate him jumping on with us and being part of the show. As we move forward here, I want to hit a couple more of our partners, and I'm going to get some of you guys over here on the comments as they roll in. Appreciate all the comments coming in. Old Number One Customs finished up our bathroom remodel this week. Going to have some pictures. I know I keep telling y'all that, but I will have pictures and a video to show you. Unbelievable transformation. So impressed with what they were able to do in my house. You can do the same thing at yours with a kitchen, a bathroom, a bedroom, an outdoor living space. Call Jake Bartall and his crew at Old Number One Customs. They are phenomenal. I'll promote them from now to the end of time. They just did a phenomenal job. Their sister company, JFA Blue Plumbing, can come and install a Home Atlas water filter duo system into your house for purified drinking water. 844 JFA Blue. They also work on all types of plumbing issues. You need to call JFA Blue Plumbing. They did the plumbing in my house. Phenomenal work, as always. Like I said, can't go wrong with either one. And then Oliver Ross, my good friend Mark Gilliland. They are busy as they can be with fraternity and sorority parties, weddings. I was just at a wedding this past weekend where they handled the bar services there. They do a tremendous job, man. We're so blessed to be partnered with so many great companies. And if you need somebody for bartending services at your next function, Oliver Ross is the people to call. Go check them out. Fully licensed, fully trained bartenders. They will do you a great job. All right, comments. Justin, appreciate you. Wore down to you for that comment. We really, really appreciate that. Glenn said, I see Georgia getting off the bus with a spy on Arnold. There's no doubt. Glenn, that's the straw that stirs the drink. If the quarterback is struggling to make decisions, you're putting pressure on him, and you're kind of discombobulated on offense, on decision-making like Auburn has been the last couple of games, Georgia watched the film on that. They see what they've got to do. So you're going to get more of the same, but it's just like Jason and I said for the last 20 minutes. You have got to put yourself in positive situations to where you take the pressure off of him, and you got to keep yourself ahead of the chains. I know we sound like a broken record, but that is the truth. Auburn's woes offensively have stemmed from these pre-snap penalties and holding the ball too long. Okay. It's not rocket science. So they've got to put themselves in position, and you can't abandon the running game. You've got to be able to run the football, even though they show looks where you know it's a tough front to run into. You still got to run the football. So we'll see if Auburn does that. That's what Free said this past week. We know what we got to do. We got to do it. He said it before the A&M game. He didn't do it. Okay. Now, things that were going on the field predicated them probably not running the football as much, but you even have to kind of erase that at this point. You have got to say, even if we do get behind the chains, we've still got to run the football. You've got to trust Jeremiah Cobb and Damari Alston and those guys to get you some quality carries on the ground, to open up some other things, at least make them respect that you're going to run the football. Because if you become one-dimensional, you see what happens. You're not going to win in this league. It's just not going to happen. Throw the 3-yard out, Glenn. I have no problem with that. Again, I think short, intermediate passes, quick. I mean, I've said this a million times. I know all of you that watch this show have heard me say it a ton. In period 5, when he's reacting in the hurry up, no huddle, Jackson Arnold looks like an all-star. I say that. I wish I could show you the film. We can't film during that segment. But when he's reacting, I don't see him ever miss a pass. And it's reaction. He knows he's going there. The ball's out of his hand. It's a great play. And they're getting to the line of scrimmage. Then they run the ball, and you got the defense on their heels. I don't see that in games, though. What I watch in that hurry up, no huddle period, I never see in the game. And I don't know why you don't see it in the game. I don't know if it's because of the pre-snap penalties or whatever, but I don't see that in the game. If Auburn fans could see what we see in practice in period 5, I think you'd go, why are we not doing that? I'd like to see them just come out in that and try to run a tempo like Jason just said. I think it would be so beneficial. You're at home, so the crowd's in your favor in this game. So maybe you see that a little bit more. Maybe that's something they adjusted to here during this practice week and during last week during the off week. So, yeah, Justin, it is frustrating. I mean, that's the thing. You're trying to solve a riddle. You got all the pieces, you got all the stuff, and you just haven't been able to put it together yet. But I think the biggest thing is Auburn hadn't beaten Georgia in so long, and Georgia, if they win this game, will have tied the longest winning streak in this series at 9. And there's just a lot of things that you can do Saturday night to turn the momentum and the mindset of this program around with a win against Georgia. And it's about time to do that. It's time for Auburn with this staff and this roster to turn the page. If they're going to be a competitive program moving forward for the rest of the year, that's what they need to do. They've got to get over the hump. I know Georgia's a good football team, but Georgia's always had a great program. Auburn's always had a great program. And it's been about dead even in this series up until the last 8 or 9 years. And Auburn's let it get away from them. So it's time to turn it back in the other direction. And you got to start somewhere. Saturday night's a great place to start. All right, the only thing I'm going to say about this schedule change for next year, again, I hate that was released this week because all the concentration should be on this game and everybody's talking about this other junk. There's two sides to this. I said it yesterday. I told all of you, it's the new day and age of college athletics, and we've been saying it for months. You're not going to like it, but this is the cards that administrations and schools are being dealt, and they have to make decisions based on recruits and all that. And I know people are saying, well, they're not respecting the fans and they're selling out the community and all that. I get all that. I understand that. It's a tough decision. I don't think anybody wants to take a home game away from Jordan-Hare Stadium. I don't like it personally, but you got to do what you got to do in this day and age to compete because that's all this is an arms race and money. Now, the point I made yesterday is you got a great roster now. You need to start making hay with what you got instead of worrying about the kickoff game next year and, future recruiting classes. I mean, you got to start showing because Auburn's recruited pretty well the last few years. And you've built a roster that can compete now. So you need to go win some football games. I said it before the season started, and I'm saying it now at this point in time in the season. Go win football games. The rest will take care of itself. Everybody was worried about in the summer about the recruiting. Oh, man, we're behind in recruiting. We took the wrong approach. Well, go win football games. It won't matter. You're still going to be able to attract great recruits to Auburn, and you're going to be competitive NIL-wise, but you got to go win some daggum football games. If you cannot continue to have losing seasons and expect things to stay on the track. So at some point in time, you got to turn the corner. So that's really all I'm going to say about it. You can go back and watch yesterday. I kind of went on a 15-minute with Faith. We talked about it for a while, about moving this game to Atlanta. It just is what it is at this point. But the concentration for this week needs to be on Georgia. That's where we need to be. And I didn't want to spend a lot of time today talking about it, and I know Jason didn't want to talk about it, so that's really my take. So Rustin says, I feel like he always makes excuses. He that is, well, at this point, Rustin, you're right. And it's the same talk every single week over and over in the post-game press conference, saying the same thing. Well, it's on me. It's on our coaching staff. It's not on the kids. Well, some of it's on the kids. You can't say it's all on the coaches because you got to go out and execute, and there's been times that the players didn't execute. But majority of it is on the coaches because it's their job to prepare the team and to have the team in the best possible situation every week to win. And so, really, you don't really need to even say that in a post-game press conference. You just need to say, we didn't get it done, or we either got it done or we didn't get it done. It's one of the two. And then address why you didn't get it done or address why you won the game. You don't need to get in there and say, well, it's on me. Well, we know that. We all know that. There's no need to bring that up again. So it's kind of the same talk each and every week in that. So, all right, folks, we appreciate it so very much. Again, thanks to Jason for being on with us this morning. We'll have our show at noon today. I think it'll be Andy and JJ, and then we'll be back with you in the morning for more of the Auburn Blitz podcast. Again, all of you out there, appreciate you that have subscribed to our YouTube channel. If you have not done that, please go out there and do that. We would greatly appreciate it, and make sure you hit the like button out there. It helps us out tremendously. All right, everybody, go out, do some good things today. Have the best day ever, as Faith would always say if she's here. And we will catch you tomorrow for more of the Auburn Blitz.